of the Standing Committee on Citizenship and Immigration to order. Um, First of all, I want to thank the witnesses who are appearing before the committee today as we do our important study on the impact of COVID-19 on the immigration system. And on behalf of the committee members, I just want to apologize to our witnesses for the scheduling issues because of the vote. We had to schedule from 2 o'clock to 3 o'clock. So thanks for understanding and thanks for being flexible. So I welcome our three witnesses who are appearing as before today before the committee. So the first one is Mr. Raj Sharma, the managing partner for Stewart Sharma Harsyani. And our second witness is, as an individual, Lon Waltman, lawyer, Waltman and Association. And we also have Association Québécoise des Avocats et Droit des Immigration. Sorry for my pronunciation. They are being represented by Mr. Cliché Levard, the president, and Ms. Wallois, the administrator. So I welcome all the witnesses. All the witnesses will be given 5 minutes for their opening remarks, and then we will move to the round of questioning. So with that, I would request our first witness, Mr. Sharma, to please start. Mr. Sharma, the floor is yours. You have 5 minutes for your opening remarks.
Thank you, Madam Chair, committee members. It's my pleasure to appear before this committee again and speak to you regarding the impact of COVID-19 on our immigration system. COVID-19 was an unprecedented disruption to our immigration system. This was something completely new, completely unexpected, and it impacted almost every line of business at IRCC. IRCC was caught flat-footed, as were we all. Hundreds, if not thousands, of immigration and visa officers had to stop working or start working remotely. Visitor visa applications, biometrics, medical examinations, all essentially eliminated for weeks and months. Visa application centers were shut down. Families have been separated, whether by borders or travel logistics or other conditions in other countries. Citizenship ceremonies and landings for permanent residents were put off. Language schools and other designated learning institutions are on tenterhooks. Thousands of international students are still trying to navigate this new landscape. There are significant delays in processing submitted applications, including those submitted electronically for individuals within Canada. They are in limbo, and as one example of impact, this is affecting their eligibility for health coverage, even though they have what's called implied status in Canada. There was and continues to be a massive uncertainty as immigration policy is being made almost daily via website. There are promising signs on the horizon, however. COVID-19 has led to changes in the way we hear cases. The Immigration Refugee Board is Canada's largest administrative tribunal, and it has a tradition of innovation and evolution. At the beginning of this pandemic, eligibility determinations, refugee hearings, and appeals were canceled and delayed. This included sponsorship appeals, which added to the grief and anxiety of those affected by the pandemic. However, hearings have resumed with health and safety protocols at the Refugee Protection Division, and most appeals at the Immigration Appeal Division will be done remotely. All divisions of the Immigration Refugee Board will need continued support. Eliminating in-person attendance could lead to a cascade of savings and increase access to justice. COVID-19 has demonstrated the importance of frontline workers. During this pandemic, we continue to exploit and put migrant, agricultural workers, and new immigrants in harm's way. Persons of color and new immigrants are disproportionately affected by COVID-19 because they're also disproportionately on the front line as healthcare workers and essential workers, transit, meat, agricultural processing. These workers are not disposable. There should be greater employment mobility and a clear pathway to permanent residency for all essential and frontline workers, irrespective of whether they're in a so-called low-skilled job. This change can be made easily through expanding the existing express entry system. COVID-19 taught us the importance of family reunification. The family class for parents and grandparents was slated to open in April, and it was delayed. We were looking forward to this newest iteration of the program. It was unfortunately a little disappointing. It's a simple lottery draw, and one simple change could improve the program. Last month, I was on a CBC call-in show, and Fraser, a big game hunter from Lac La Biche, called in. He wasn't affected by the program, but he called in to tell us that if you're unsuccessful for a big game hunting license or a tag in a given year, you could build priority points so that when you try again, you have a higher chance of being picked. This is someone who just listened in for 5 or 10 minutes, but was able to identify a solution, the weighted draw. A weighted draw should merit serious consideration for the next iteration of the parents-grandparents family class. Further, if we do want increased numbers, then we should consider increasing the age limit of accompanying dependents, which at present is set at a hard 22. Crises not only reveal existing shortcomings, but they can be opportunities as well to accelerate change already in progress. IRCC has made great strides with electronic applications, and this should continue. Wet signatures and paper applications should not be required in 2020 and beyond. Hopefully, there'll be a silver lining to this pandemic that's wreaked so much devastation around the world in the form of further common sense and logical enhancements to immigration processing. Thank you for this work. I think that there's great value in continued consultations with stakeholders. We can work together to increase value and decrease cost and identify and resolve inefficiencies. Thank you. I look forward to answering any questions the committee may have.
Thank you, Mr. Sharma. Now we will move